Hey there everyone, Brad Vincent with Realty Right Texas here to give you your monthly real estate video. You may notice I'm wearing black today because I'm mourning the loss of my Houston Astros in the playoffs. We lost the Kansas City Royals in 5 games in the division series. It's been about a week, but I'm still feeling the pain. Such is life of a Houston sports fan, as many of you may know. No Houston sports team will ever deliver for you. Except for the Rockets in the mid-90s, but those days are long gone. Coming to you today to give you your video for the month of October. We are fortunately 3/4 of the way through what I call the real estate winter. And if you watched my last video, you know what that is. Essentially, September and October are very slow months in the real estate market, and we are on our way through that. I'm already seeing activity pick up through my listings and just through conversations I'm having with other agents. With their clients. Fortunately for me, everything I listed in the month of September and October is either under contract or actually closed. So I'm kind of working my way past that right now. And what I'm focused on is getting my listings up for November the 1st. Which again, if you watched my video last month, you know November 1st is a very good time to list your house. It's kind of a short but hot period on the market where from November 1st to January 31st, there's a lot of buyers actively searching for homes. They want to close before the end of the year, and they're out there really pursuing everything and making good, solid, aggressive offers. So if you're going to list your home, November 1st or within around that week is a great time to get it up. I've had a lot of discussions with people based on my last video and with clients I've been working with throughout the year that just couldn't make the their house available in the summer, where we set it up to go ahead and wait till November 1st. So I've got a handful of listings that are going to go up around that time that I'm looking forward to right now. That's really what we're focused on right now. Another thing I wanted to give you an update on is the new CFPB rule did go ahead and kick into effect on October the 3rd. We are dealing with that now. I've got a few listings that actually went under contract within that timeline that I'm dealing with right now. Haven't closed anything with the new rules yet, but I'm working on deals that are under those guidelines. And so far it's going pretty smooth. It's about what I expected though. There's a few bumps in the road. And really, as I expected, other agents are what are making it so difficult. Anytime I'm dealing with an agent that really doesn't know that rule exists, it makes it pretty hard. But so far, we are kind of sailing along pretty smoothly and kind of navigating around it. So I'll keep you updated, and I'll let everyone know when I close one of those, or if I have any problems with one of those deals to kind of look out for it. But everything is going well there. I got an email in my inbox yesterday, and I get these emails quarterly from the Houston Association of Realtors, and they send what they call a Houston real estate scorecard. And essentially what that is it's a series of numbers based on polls and based on data they've collected that show what the market's health kind of is. And this particular one I got is a set of data that was tested from October of last year to October this year, so basically one full year. And I wanted to kind of share those numbers with everybody just so they can kind of get an idea of what the market's doing and to kind of touch on things I've been talking about. So I'll start with the positive numbers first. Builders confidence rating last year this time of year was 55. This year it's a 61. So anytime builders confidence is up higher, that is a good thing for the Houston market. That means builders are going to be building more, they're going to be investing more. And if they're willing to make that investment, that's a good sign that things are going well with the market. Hopefully that will lead to increased inventory and just more neighborhoods being developed out there and things kind of moving on quicker. Builders are not really moving very quickly right now, and the building process is kind of a headache, so hopefully that means they will invest in making the process better. Existing sales last year 6,691, this year 7,133. That's an increase of about 500. So that's a good number. When you think about it, it's actually less than 1%, so it's not a huge jump, but it is nice to see that number is higher than it was last year. Inventory last year is 28,085. This year's 28,507, so that's about 420 more houses that are on the market in inventory than last year. That is a number I would like to see continue to rise a little bit. Increased inventory is not necessarily a positive thing for sellers. because when there's low inventory like there has been over the last few years, it creates kind of a frenzy with the buyers and makes it where you can sell your house at a much higher price and much quicker. I would like to see that number go up. I'd like to see more inventory because I do believe there's buyers out there who are not entering the market. They're not looking to purchase a home because they see that there's not much inventory. So I believe increased inventory would actually bring out more buyers. Thus, it would be a win-win for everybody. There would be more people to sell your houses to, so on the listing side you'd benefit as well. What we don't want to see is some massive uptick in inventory. That's what we dealt with when we had the crash before. You know, you kind of just woke up one day, next thing you know, there were just a ton of houses on the market. Having a gradual increase would be nice though. Interest rates last year, 4.12%, this year 3.9%. That's not a huge jump, but interest rates are very low right now, and I was actually just reading up on that. Interest rates just went down based on a weak jobs report that came out in September. So I think the oil market is affecting that pretty well. But interest rates are very low right now at 3.9%. That is one big reason why it is still really good to be a buyer. If you think about the difference in interest rate, what you make your monthly payment over a 30-year loan at 3.9% compared to, let's say, 5% where it should kind of be in the next few years, that's massive. So, you know, prices may be a little high, but that super low interest rate is really going to benefit you. In theory, the interest rate should be going up. When the housing market is strong and is increasing, interest rates should be going up with it, but the federal government is playing around with mortgage-backed securities, and that is not allowing the market to kind of correct itself that way. That is a sign to me that the government's not very confident where our economy is, and you know, we will need to see that increase at some point, but it just kind of keeps getting delayed. So right now rates are still low, and it looks like they're going to be for the foreseeable future. The next number I see is unemployment. Last year was 5.1%, this year it's 4.6%. That is a pretty large number, and that's a good number. I'm not a big fan of these unemployment statistics because of the way they take them. I don't believe they're super accurate, but year over year from 5.1 to 4.6, considering it's all the same scale, is a good number. The thing I don't like is they do not consider people who have dropped out of the job market when they do these numbers. So if you've been looking for a job for 6 months, a year, 2 years, and you just stop looking and like move in with your grandparents, that does not reflect on the unemployment rate. That makes the unemployment rate go down, but you have not found a job, you know. So that's something I actually see quite often. To the negative number, and this is the one negative number, and this is kind of an alarming number. Construction spending in the city of Houston. Last year was $1.01 billion. This year it's $788 million. That's a pretty massive number, and typically construction spending and real estate go hand in hand, and when construction spending is very high, typically real estate's gonna be very high. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the market's gonna crash tomorrow, but that's a low number. It's definitely something to keep an eye on. I also believe that this is attributed to the low oil market. When oil prices are consistently low, it kind of takes a while to hit home. Our economy is much more diverse than it used to be in Houston. We used to be very oil dependent, and right now it's just not hurting us as bad as it used to, but it definitely is affecting companies that are investing in construction. You're not going to see as many commercial buildings. It's kind of going to affect commercial more than residential, and I've talked to a lot of my commercial friends on that, kind of what they forecast, but it's just important to know that the economy is still very fragile. The housing market is still very fragile. We have been making gains year after year after year, and significantly high gains, but that's not necessarily always a good thing. So you can't keep climbing up forever, and you know, we just have a lot of things that are very fragile. I was reading a statistic, I believe yesterday, and I actually posted this to my Facebook page. It said 62% of households don't have any money in savings. So that's a pretty good indicator that, you know, though the market's good, though the economy is good, not everyone's doing well. Some of that has to do with the spending habits changing. I know that a lot of people I know make good income but just don't save their money. When it comes to real estate, you need to save your money, and that knowing that 62% of Americans don't have any savings does affect kind of where housing is going. You know, and that is why it kind of supports my last video. I always tell people, if you're going to buy, you need to make a plan. You need to make a long-term plan. It's not just going to happen overnight. You know, back in 2004, 2005, they were giving away free loans, and people kind of still have that in their mind that one day that'll come back. And maybe it will, but it's not likely. If you're going to buy a home, you need to plan, you need to think about where you want to be, what you want to spend, where you're going in the future, how long will you live there, and you need to save your money. To live in the home that I'm in now, I saved my money for 3 years to get the down payment I want, to get my finances where I want them to be. So it's something that I encourage, in this market, well, in this business in general, real estate, most realtors are going to hammer you to try to buy now. And I do not take that mindset. I want my clients to invest in their future. I want my clients to be happy. And that projects into future sales for me. The now mentality only serves you now. It doesn't serve you in the future. And I would suggest, as I did in the last video, if you are getting serious about buying, contact me. Even if you're 6 months, a year out, let's kind of work together to make a plan as to where you may want to go. On the other side of that, on the selling side, again, I talked about November 1st. Based on these numbers, based on the things that I've discussed in my other videos, if you know for sure you want to list your house in the next 6 months to a year, maybe even 2 years, I would have you strongly consider contacting me now and getting your house up as quickly as possible. If you could get up on that November 1st housing rush, then I would do it. It's going to vary from neighborhood to neighborhood, but for the most part, if you live in a fringe neighborhood where prices are really high right now and they're kind of past what historical values would be in your neighborhood, when the market ticks down, or if we have any type of kind of stunt in the market that brings prices down, you're going to be the one who's affected the most. To give you an example of that, everything's case by case. One neighborhood or one house may be different than another, but to give you an example, I've had 2 people that I've recently talked to in the last week. One lives in Lancaster over on the north side of Katy/Cypress, and he bought his house 3 years ago for around $90,000. Well, his house is now worth $125,000 per the comps I pulled, and that is really high for that neighborhood. If the market goes down in the next year or two, he is going to probably see a significant dip off, and his values will be back down in that 90 range. And before he bought, houses were going for 50, 60, 70. So there is a very low in that neighborhood, and the high right now is super high. On the flip side of that, I had a client in Fairfield contact me. He's got a rental property he's been renting out, and he's thinking about putting on the market. And we talked, I went over the numbers, and because of what's going on over there, and because how steady values have been, and with Grand Parkway being developed, I told him to go ahead and hold on to it. I think a year from now it's going to be worth more, 2 years from now it's going to be worth more, and even if we have a dip, he's not likely to see a big decrease in his value. So from house to house it's different, but there's those fringe neighborhoods, mostly in the lower priced homes from like kind of 100 to 150, where back when the market really crashed, prices were super low, and now they're up really high. Those are the ones. So if you know anybody in those areas, or you have a friend or family member who's just kind of thinking about selling their home in the near future, have them give me a call or shoot me an email. I mean, I'm not going to pressure them into doing anything, but I may be able to give them some info that helps them decide on what they want to do. I don't think the market's going to crash next year. I think next year being an election year, the market's going to be pretty flat. But again, the economy is so fragile, the housing market is so fragile, and when a big traumatic event happens, there's nothing you can do to go back. If the market crashes, which I don't think it will, you're not going to be able to say, oh man, let's go back in time and we can sell that house. You're going to be stuck with that house for another 3 to 5 years. You're going to have to rent it out or just live in it even if you don't want to. So just be thinking about that. Some things we've got coming up in the next couple of months. November, I'm bringing back No Shave November. You can kind of see I'm getting kind of scruffy. I'm in that like crappy itchy phase of my beard. But we're bringing that back to support a organization known as Hope Lodge. They're part of the American Cancer Center. Hope Lodge is building a big construction project here in Houston that is it's going to be a building to house people who are undergoing cancer treatment, chemotherapy, radiation, and those kind of things, and their family members as they're going through treatments. It's a great organization, it's a great cause. They are trying to raise money for that development, and they're a little behind. Bob McNair, the owner of the Houston Texans, has actually issued a challenge that any money raised in 2015, every dollar donated, he will match. So I have had a few people ask me to kind of raise awareness, and I was doing it last year as well, and they were supposed to hit their goal last year, but they're very behind because of construction costs in Houston. So I'm gonna grow the beard back. Many of you hated it, but it's gonna come back. And my hope, and my hope for others is our beards will be so scruffy and large that people will be like, what the heck's going on? Why is your beard like that? And I will be able to say, hey, listen, we got this company, Hope Lodge, here's how you can donate. I'll get you the details in my next video for November as to who to contact if you want to make donations. But just want to raise awareness any way I can, and I was challenged to do that. So really, the last video I had generated a ton of interest. I got a lot of emails, phone calls, comments on Facebook. I want to say thanks to everybody who watched the video, everybody who liked it, everyone who shared it. Please do so again. If you like this video, please click like. If you would like to share it on your page, I'd appreciate it. The more views I get on it, the better. If you have any questions or comments, you can comment in the box below, or you can message me through Facebook. You can email me at brad@realtyright.com, or you can call me on my cell, 281-770-1099. Appreciate you guys watching the video. I hope you get to enjoy some of the great weather we're having, and be safe.